Hello everyone, this is Kyle at Mystery Gardens, and today I wanted to give everyone an update on how our plants are doing with the overwintering at the nursery. So if you watched some of our past videos where I gave the process on overwintering the perennials and our shrubs, you would have saw that we are overwintering a lot of plants in this hoop house right here. And then this area back here, we got some stuff overwintering, and then over there, I won't put it on the camera yet, we have an area where we're overwintering a lot of plants. So this is something that nurseries has to do if they want to hold their plants over from season to season. So if you're someone who's curious and you own a nursery, you're thinking about opening one up and you're just curious about the process of overwintering stuff, you can watch this video, and this is what stuff looks like at our nursery in the middle of January. And this year has been a little bit more cold than it has the past couple of years. We've gotten down to single digits, and we didn't get to single digits last year. And we're zone 6. We're new zone 6. So we have the potential to get down to -10. But we've gotten pretty close. No, I think we've actually gotten to like 2 degrees. And it's been below freezing for weeks now. And we've had a snow cover, which helps for weeks. Which all those things I just talked about, the snow cover and the freezing temperatures, consistent freezing temperatures, are all things that are really good in keeping the plants dormant and keeping me from having to take care of them during the winter. One thing you'll notice too is all these little kitty paws. There's lots of cats. Some of them are strays, I think, and some of them are neighborhood cats. But you'll see right at the entrance of our hoop house, I see evidence of kitties. So that's a good thing, because rodent protection is something that you need to worry about, and they're doing their job. The only thing I do notice is it does smell like cat pee in here, which is kind of gross, but at least they're not eating the plants. And come spring, we'll open up the sides and, spray everything down, and hopefully the smell is gone from this structure. So here we are. Here's our plants, and it is a little bit messy because winter came quick, so I had to kind of throw everything into here. And then I started working at the job that I work over the winter, and that's a very, it's a very tiring job. So I don't come here very often because I'm, just recovering or whatever most of the time. So yeah, we did a lot of stacking of plants. So you can see once the temperature hits a certain temperature, like below 10 degrees, the leaves start they just basically freeze and they look dead, but the plant is actually fine. I don't know what the scientific name for it is. We had some of these leaves were green too, like on the Shasta daisies, but then they've died out. So in the spring, we'll have to do some cleanup. Not a ton of stuff looks setting buds yet. Like at a certain time, like in February or March, you start to see like buds swelling. I mean, you see some nice buds on these rhododendrons right here. I don't know if those are going to be leaves or flowers, but that's growth for next year. And on these elderberries. But in the soil at a certain point, you see the plants starting to come alive. And I don't see that yet. I mean, all the plants are still alive, which is nice. But once I start to see that, it makes me very excited, because I know that they've for sure made it through the winter. We have some evergreens. So the evergreens usually turn funny colors during the winter. But then in the spring, when you water them and fertilize them, they put on some new growth and they start to green back up. We put the summer evergreen stuff on top, if you remember. And then the hoop house, a lot of times, plants that normally lose their leaves, they hold on to them because they're under protection from the wind. So I haven't watered any of this stuff yet. It's still pretty heavy. It doesn't need to be watered yet, because everything's been frozen. So it's very helpful. Some things I didn't cut back the foliage, like this geranium, and it was green when I put it in the hoop house, and now it's most of the leaves have kind of died back. So next year, when I overwinter this plant, if I need to overwinter it, I know to cut back most of the foliage, because it's just going to turn brown. And then when you have the dead foliage on the plants, sorry for the random flight of thoughts, but it just makes me think about it as I talk about it. That becomes an issue once the temperatures start to rise. because you start to get mold issues on the dead plants with the high humidity created by the hoop situation. And we have this under white plastic, so it doesn't warm up during the day. You definitely don't want to have these plants under green plastic. So we have some echinaceas here. I had some issues with overwintering them last year, mostly with rot. So I made sure I put them on top. And actually, there is some rot happening in this plant right here, but it might not be the whole plant. You know, this kind of created a couple plants in the pot, so it still might be fine. We'll see what happens in the spring. It might be dead, it might be alive. But most of our plants, virtually all of our plants, survive. Here's some hydrangeas. Not really showing any swelling buds. The roses have like their new buds, and they kept their leaves. But you can see the old leaves kind of come off. So come spring, I'm going to cut these roses back and strip off the old leaves. So that'll be a process, but it's something that needs to be done. Could actually probably, if I have more time later in the winter, I could probably get that done. Oh, the irises I were really worried about, but I feel really good. Because I planted these late, because I wanted to have the tubers for sale before I planted them out in the pots. So I planted them late. So they did get rooted in really well, and the tubers aren't mushy, which is awesome. That tells me they're going to make it through the winter. More stuff. The butterfly bushes. The butterfly bushes, I always do fine. For some places I hear that they have trouble doing butterfly bushes. I think having them under protection helps. The lavender plants, they look bad, but they'll be fine. They always flush out and look good. Let's see. It's hard to tell what stuff is. There's a honeysuckle bush, Direvilla. That's already got its buds for next year. And then a way to tell too that stuff is still doing okay is by how flexible it is. You can do the scratch test as well. You see that it's green. That green is good, but if the branches are really stiff, then you might have a dead plant. All this stuff has really flexible stem still. And one thing to really worry about if you have hoops is the mice. But, you know, we have cats coming in here and they're doing their job. So I know the cat pee smells kind of gross, but if you have a mouse problem, it becomes a huge issue. And they eat and eat and eat. I've lost I remember one year we lost all of our baptisia. We lost 20 baptisia plants, and we lost a couple apple trees and all this stuff. And they're very ferocious. And you just need one mouse. That's all you need. So thank you, kitties. There's just menagerie things. We have some phlox. The phlox looks really bad, but behind all those desiccated leaves, you can see some, I guess, stuff ready to grow once the temperature is the appropriate temperature. So yeah, I thought this was interesting. I thought it could help people who are in this situation, or if you're just curious what we do. And then when the plants come out in the spring, it's so much nicer having a second year plant because the plants really explode. Especially if you grow stuff from seed, they don't, a lot of stuff doesn't flower the first year, so you'll get flower in the second year. The plants, they double or triple in size. Here's a plant, I wasn't sure if I should cut back or not, and then I realized, I looked it up, and I don't think you are supposed to cut back the euphorbia, so I stopped. Trying to think of an example of something that's gonna I guess they all do that. All the plants do that thing where in the spring they explode. A lot of stuff, you have time, you can divide it up, and you can't even tell that the plant was divided, really. Here's a lot of our propagations that we have from last year. So I'll be potting these up into bigger pots in the spring. So this is, we're doing a lot of native plants next year, so we start a lot of native stuff. So this is the spiderwort Virginiana, the Virginia spiderwort. We have some Physotecia virginiana, I think. Forgot like the common name of that plant. Some cardinal flower. Just like a menagerie of different stuff. You know, some cuttings that we did. This was, what is this? Oh, this was a Joe Pye weed. I think that wasn't super successful. That's why I just have a couple plants right there. Some roses. It was the first time I ever tried to do roses. And you know, we had some of them root. So that's cool. These are all non-patented plants, of course. This is a blue cardinal flower, the Lobelia syphilitica. The Achillea. It's important to put names on this. This is Achillea canadensis. This is just, believe it or not, there's some orange milkweed. There's like 20 plants in that one. This is some Baptisia. And those are just some seeds that I germinated in the spring, or in the summer. So they may or may not come back. So it's kind of cool to stop in and check the plants during the winter and, you know, water them if they need them. Here's some hellebores that we started from seed a couple years ago. They might bloom this year, they might not. All right, so and here we have a bunch of trees over here too. Now I'm going to check some of the stuff that we have on the side of the hoops over here. See all these kitty paw prints. Oh, and if this snow load is probably keeping a lot of the mice out so they can't sneak in the sides or whatever. I didn't wear any gloves, so it's going to be kind of hard to root around. It looks like someone was digging something over here. Someone was playing with something. If I remember, oops, there's a ladder out here. Gotta take care of that. I put a lot of our herbs out here because I didn't want to waste space in that hoop house. You know, I just want to experiment. So, we have gay feather out here. And I'm just looking to see if the plants are like still alive, basically. Having the snow on them is good insulation. So we have time here and it still looks fine. So cover back up. You know, I had a couple shrubs out here. This looks like a hydrangea. Doing fine. And this area is protected from wind. That's the number one thing. I think that's a weed. I gotta clean up this area. There's some stuff I gotta clean up over here, some trees. And then I do have an experiment over here. I have a couple of plants I just kind of left out in the open. They're not like super popular plants that we sell. So I was like, well, might as well experiment with them and see what happens. So I have two Fothergilla plants over here. Just let them sit in the open. It's been super windy, super cold, and they're actually doing fine. And we have variegated leaf forsythia. For whatever reason, that's not a really popular plant either, and it's doing fine. And here's our shrub. I looked at this earlier. All these shrubs are looking fine. This is a viburnum that has buds on it for next year. We have one pussy willow left. We have like little baby ones started, but this one has a lot of buds ready to go. So if you're in the market for a pussy willow next spring, we have a really nice one. And yeah, things are just looking like they're alive. So that's cool. It's good to see. So this is mid-January. I don't even know what the date is. I think it's like the 12th. I'll actually put it on the screen. It's Sunday. I have to work tomorrow. I know that. So yeah, so we've gotten through a good majority of the winter. We just got to get through the rest of this month, which is weather's gonna be really consistently the same. I was looking at the forecast, so you know, just more snow, more sub-freezing temperatures, but nothing too bad. Usually February is pretty bad, so that's kind of a hit or miss month. Sometimes February is okay, but sometimes it's just like a horrible month in terms of temperature. So we're in the Syracuse-ish area, and I remember a couple of years ago, February was like the coldest month ever on record. So I hope we don't have one of those again. And then I'll just give you a pan of the showcase garden right now, because it's looking really pretty. Most of the stuff is perennial plants, but it's just pretty seeing all the plants popping out of the snow. Of course, when we bought the property, it was just like a sea of grass. So seeing all these plants out here, and of course all these need to be chopped back. We just never got around to it, so once the temperatures get better, we'll do that. These are weeping willow. That grew really tall. That's 1 year. Grew like 12 feet in 1 year. So it's really pretty because the bark from top to bottom is yellow, so it really stands out and looked really pretty in the garden this year. So see how each one has 2 stalks. So this year I'm going to chop down one of each of those stalks, and then each year I'm just going to leave one, so we just have a continuous, you'll only get 12 feet tall, and then we're chopping you down. So it's nice to have it in the garden because it's pretty and it sucks up a lot of water, because there's a lot of water out here. Our black lace elderberry looks really nice. Some of these plants we planted way too close. We're going to move this butterfly bush because it's glorious, but it's too big for that spot. So yeah. Alright, so thank you for watching our video today. If you have any questions or comments about the video, we'd love to hear from you, so please leave them in the comment section below. And if you've been watching our videos or you like this video and you're not subscribed, make sure that you like the video, because that helps the YouTube algorithm push out videos out to more people, and subscribe to our channel.